Welcome everyone. My name is Zoe Reece and I am from New Zealand. I'm here to talk to you today about a new era of global supply and what part New Zealand plays within that. We're really going to come and unlock what's happening in New Zealand and how it's connected to the rest of the world and what our next points are moving forward. Thank you for joining us today and look forward to building some long-term partnerships with you. So what we'll cover today is Europe's supply challenges. With such extraordinary growth, what's happening obviously is that you need supply to keep up with that, as well as the quality and the consistency between batches. And what we all know is happening a lot is we've got a lot of small growers, a lot of fragmented supply that comes along. You've got crop risk of single source dependencies, certification chaos, which we all know the regulations can sometimes be a bit of a mess, and missed demand with supply gaps and quality issues. Ora Pharm has a unified solution to this, a coordinated cultivation group. We in New Zealand meet the top quality standards in the framework of EU GMP with speed, quality and traceability. We're full service or bulk, so we can work with you and with your model and export ready with what we're doing. So as I mentioned before, there's just been unprecedented demand and growth in this sector, and to that we need to make sure that we meet the demand and growing as it is. So these are just some of the figures from 2024 with the medical market. Obviously Germany, you lead that with 59% of European patients and the fastest market growth, which you've all seen that even more so over the last year since the regulations changed. Also, the market is driven by patients paying and what's happening there. So who am I and why should I be up here talking to you today? A little bit of background on me is that I'm an engineer. I grew up in New Zealand and I love New Zealand. I have been working in the construction and mining industries since I graduated. And then in 2017, I moved to Boston with my husband, and that's when I joined Curaleaf as their Director of Engineering. When I started, they were 16 facilities in 6 states, and I helped build them to 83 facilities in 16 states. I was employee number 220, and when I left, there were over 3,500 employees. I took their growth from 20 million US a year to over 700 million US a year in the 2 years that I was with them. At that point, our visas ran out, being Kiwis in America. So New Zealand had just announced that they would be implementing regulations. And with everything that I learned and with my passion for how medicinal cannabis can help people, I decided to move back to New Zealand to start up Ora Pharm. Since then, we have built a state-of-the-art facility just south of Auckland. We're exporting high-quality flower to Australia, and we have different proprietary cultivation processes and procedures and products that we've created to get us 40% more yield and 90% less cost per cycle as well. And then I became the Deputy Chair of the New Zealand Medical Cannabis Council, and so that's really where all of the industry come together and we work together on what we need to do, lobbying the regulators and working with them, and while at the same time making sure that as an industry we can meet the patient demand and we can meet the quality standards, and they're the best ones that there are out there. So within this, I've obviously started working with a lot of the New Zealand growers, and to that point, we started collaborating. And after we made our first export, we were approached by a number of them who asked us if we could help them export. And from there, I found that there's just such a demand for support within the smaller cultivators to help them meet the regulations, but also to take some of that regulatory burden off them, create some consistency, and we also found that we can help them out in a number of other ways there. Wrong button. So what makes New Zealand special? Who are we as a country? New Zealand, built for trust and ready to respond. So we're a trusted global exporter of regulated goods. That's something that we've always been doing. We've been doing for a long, long time, almost for as long as New Zealand has existed as a Western country. And we've got unified national standards and government support for the medicinal cannabis industry. We unite. We've got a very collaborative and innovative ecosystem within New Zealand. There's a lot of government support for that innovation, which I'll talk to a little bit later. And we unite growers together in what we're doing. New Zealand export experts with high integrity systems. So as a country, we export $57 billion worth of food and fibre each year. We feed over 40 million people around the globe, and for a country that's only 5.5 million people, that's pretty impressive. 81% of our production of what we produce is exported, and it accounts for 12.5% of employment and 10% of GDP. We've got really efficient regulations, so I'm sure a lot of people here have had to deal with different regulations and the different systems. In New Zealand, we're a unitary system, so we don't have any federal and state complexities. We're just one federal system without the states to change anything there, which makes it so incredibly easy, while also we've benchmarked our standards and with the EU, and we've got reciprocal health and regulations and acts there, so that's great. We are number one out of 190 economies. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Perfect. Sorry about that. We're number one out of 190 countries, economies for ease of starting a business. And doing business in New Zealand is nice and easy, and we're a very value-based country. We're a leader in food safety and product traceability across 140 countries. And then from there, we have a lot of government support. So from Trade and Enterprise New Zealand, who are one of the government departments who help support the New Zealand industries across multiple different sectors to export and to get our products across the globe. Ministry of Business Innovation and Employment, which is obviously very important as we grow and scale, working with them and their resources for what we're up to. Callaghan Innovation have been very supportive of giving this industry grants for research and development to help build up our innovation and what we're doing, and that's from in the sector. For us, we've received a large grant from them, as well as other companies in New Zealand like Blue Lab who are doing some amazing things. And then we have unified regulations with safety and therapeutic approvals with the Ministry of Health and MedSafe. So where is New Zealand? Everyone thinks you're so far away, how do you get there? You're so small, tiny little dot in the middle of the ocean. Well, actually, we may look small, but compared to Europe, we do cover a lot of ground, and compared to the States as well. So we're small, but we have a really great growing climate and diversity within that growing climate. So a couple of years ago, we did have a big storm come through, which wasn't so friendly. But what happened is that only affected a portion of our growers, and the other portion were able to keep growing and doing what they're doing and had fantastic grow seasons. So we're in the top 3 globally for ease of trade. We have 16 free trade agreements across the world. And we export to over 140 different countries. Our key exports are dairy, meat, wool, seafood, wine, and other horticulture. So as you can see, we know how to grow things in New Zealand. And so what we're doing in the cannabis space is we're just working with and leveraging the different horticultural partnerships and trusted growers who know what they're doing, who know how to grow both cannabis and everything else. We know how to grow, we know how to scale, we know how to innovate, and that's what we're doing. You're not taking a risk with New Zealand because we're already world-class and established. So if you're thinking global, New Zealand's already there. So we're built for speed. For the European and the Northern Hemisphere, we've got opposite growing seasons. So we can help to plug a bit of that supply chain risk in the off-seasons. We have globally accepted standards, so we've benchmarked our standards to the European guidelines and to the European Pharmacopoeia and GMP. And not only that, but we have reciprocal acknowledgement of both of our government bodies for Europe to New Zealand and Europe back. So that creates a faster pathway into Europe than, let's say, Canada, who it's a bit more fragmented and they don't have the same supply there. Also, we're built for scale. So you would have seen the last slide where we have very large New Zealand when you overlay it, when you get some perspective there onto the rest of the world, yet we have a much lower population density. And so we've got so much more land that we can grow and in lots of different climates over a different portion of country there. So we can launch brands globally from New Zealand. Ora Pharm, what are we doing? Who are we? And helping you to expand together. Ora Pharm, this is Ora Pharm's value chain. So we have genetics, we have our own cultivation. We then work with 2/3 of New Zealand cultivators, as well as a number of ones who are just coming online as well. So we're going to have nearly 3/4 of the New Zealand cultivators shortly who are working with us. We work with them to take away a lot of their regulatory burden so that they can focus on what they're doing and they can be experts in that. We then help them to benchmark their standards, the products that they're doing, and we create this very innovative group where we get to share the different R&D, what's working, what's not, and we work together with different genetics and pheno hunting and creating a really amazing partnership. And then we can take it from post-harvest all the way to the pharmacies across different countries. So we're currently exporting into Australia, and we should be in Europe by the end of the year. Through this, we have very increased, very efficient growing platform, and we can create consistencies. We can set the quality standard within the flower. So instead of having to come and try and find what your source of product from 10 different growers to meet the volume that different companies need, we can do that within our supply chain of benchmarking within and being the quality control and standards there. We've got a resilient network of growers and redundancy built into that. So shortly we'll be processing and extracting as well. So we're not going to send over B-grade flour and try and sell it as A-grade. We are then supporting processing and certification, export and compliance, and brand and distribution. So our buyers have access to a diverse network of supply, consistent as well as option for white label, and we have a preference for long-term partnerships. We want to be flexible and we want to help patients get medicine. So that's really how we are driven. And New Zealand is this incredible values-based country, and that drives what we do. So personally, my story and why I'm here and why I got into Ora Pharm is I saw how much medicinal cannabis helps to transform people's lives. And for me, that's the driver, is I want to help improve people's quality of life. And I don't care if it's done under your brand or my brand. I just want to help support that journey and help support patients get the medicine that they need. So here we move into some of the Ora Pharm partners. So I can't say that we're a partner driven and we've got partnerships without actually talking you through them. So wanting to start off here with our technology and research partners. We've been working with Blue Lab for a really long time, almost since we started. And they've been fantastic, and we've been working with them to give feedback and support on their different products and what they're doing. And we've got some really exciting projects with them coming up. So watch out for the innovation nation that is Blue Lab and what they have. What they'll be bringing out shortly. Then we've also been working with government agencies like Callaghan Innovation and Plant and Food Research to make sure that we're bringing the most advanced technology in horticulture through, trialling it out in the greenhouse. Also received government grants from these agencies in order to help us grow and help us scale and help us innovate in what we're doing. Very excited as well to announce one of our brand new partnerships, or two brand new partnerships today. One is with our iwi, which is one of the indigenous tribes in New Zealand in the South Island, with the Hokanui Runanga. And we're really excited for what we're going to be doing with them shortly, and growing and scaling and training and creating satellite grows. And then I want to move on to some of our selected cultivation partners. And this is just a handful because I wouldn't be able to fit everyone up there, as well as the New Zealand Medical Cannabis Council. They've just been fantastic. Then I want to move on to our second exciting announcement, and that's with a new set of brand partners that we're working with, which is the 1937 group out of Chicago, Illinois, and their house of brands that they have and what they're going to bring. So we're going to help support their journey and going international and taking them global, and expanding there. So just want to touch on New Zealand is 25th out of 133 countries for science and innovation. That's what we do, that's our mentality, that's what's bred into us. And so we're always on the cutting edge, figuring out and finding what's next, and working with together in partnerships is something that we really do. Now, the New Zealand market itself inside the country is expected to reach around 100 million US by 2026, and it's just going to keep scaling from there. So why New Zealand? Why Ora Pharm? We're your trusted partner. We're transparent, EU aligned with the regulations. We've got strong IP protection and oversight. We're export proven in food and pharma and wine, as you'll know. And Ora Pharm ourselves, we're a global supply chain expert. That's what we do. We coordinate within the cultivators that we have. We've got fast, traceable, high-quality export routes through to Europe. We're already proven that out in Australia, and so now we're just expanding. And we're an ecosystem, so we're creating this partnership of being able to fill the needs of our partners and what they want through these partnerships and how we're creating them. And so you're just not working with us, you're working with everyone that we've brought on with us. Ora Pharm de-risks the supply chain and gives scale without the headaches. Instead of going to 20 different growers and trying to figure out how and where and who meets the quality standards, we do that for you and we benchmark them. We make it easy for the growers, which then in turn as well makes it more cost effective for everyone involved. So in a fragmented global market, we offer simplicity, trust, and quality. We're not here to take your brand, we're here to enable it, and New Zealand systems really give you what you need: speed to market, certainty, and a direct path. Let's set up a secure, long-term supply lane into Europe, starting now. Thank you, everyone, and don't forget to get in touch or with us if you want to learn more, or you can scan here to learn more about New Zealand and what we're doing. Thank you.